Mark Carney's Liberal government has survived a second confidence vote of its budget.
Yeas pour 30-30, nays contre 307, 307.
Today's vote addressed a block amendment that called for the House to reject the Liberal budget, claiming it was harmful to Quebec. The amendment only received 30 votes of support in the House, with 307 members opposing it. The Bloc, NDP and Greens all supported the proposed amendment, while the Liberals and Conservatives voted against it. Conservative MP Matt Genereux was among the MPs who did not vote on the motion. The Liberals face a third confidence vote on November 17th. Okay, joining me now is CTV political commentator Scott Reid. Scott, nice to see you today. There you are. Hi, Scott. Nice to see you.
Hey, Carolyn. How you doing?
I'm well, thanks. Let's talk about what's happening in Ottawa. Two Conservatives either leaving or crossing the floor this week alone. That can't be good for the party. What do you make of it?
Definitely not good for Pierre Poilievre and the party. There was, for about a 48-hour period, a real sense of panic on Parliament Hill. Rumours flying all over the place that there were going to be other defections from the Conservatives, rumours that people were really being leaned on to make sure they stayed in line. And all of this, of course, on budget week, on what was supposed to be a test for Mark Carney, whether or not he could actually get this budget passed, whether he could find the votes. Well, now one of those Conservative votes is in his column with a crossed member. And as you mentioned, Matt Genereux, member from Edmonton, who resigned quickly, a little bit mysteriously yesterday, now is abstaining from those votes. That lowers the magic number, if you will, for the Liberals, and it makes passage almost a certainty now.
What do you make of Genereux's departure? There's a lot of rumors swirling on social media about what his intentions actually were. Perhaps he intended to cross the floor. There was meeting, sources tell CTV News, between him and the PMO earlier this week. What do you really think was at play there?
I think that he was flirting with the idea of defecting and crossing the floor to the Liberals. I think it's a really tough decision. I've been involved in these kinds of decisions. The high-profile defection of Belinda Stronach back in the day, that was about as dramatic as it get. And I've been involved in others. And these are difficult for people. You have to walk away from a political party, a caucus, a movement that you've been a part of for years, and join another. And pressures come to bear. All kinds of rumors, as you say, that he found himself really under the grill from those around Pierre Poilievre. Don't know if that's true. Don't know if it matters. At the end of the day, he's resigning. That means there's going to be a by-election. That means for Pierre Poilievre, he's had two members of his own caucus say, I'd rather not be in politics or rather join the government bench than be here with Pierre Poilievre. That's bad news on any day, but it's particularly bad news on budget day and around confidence votes like we have right now.
When we look at that riding, Edmonton, or rather all of Alberta, is generally considered a Conservative stronghold, except for maybe a couple pockets within Edmonton. What do you expect to see with that riding? Will the Conservatives hold on to that seat?
They should, but it's not a guarantee, because as you say, if there is one place in Alberta where the Liberals have a fetching chance, it is Edmonton. And you have to layer on top of that a number of the initiatives, a number of the priorities that Prime Minister Carney has established have some traction with, right-of-center voters. So, if this was Justin Trudeau, I think you'd say, hard to imagine you'll be able to woo voters in an Alberta riding, even in Edmonton. Mark Carney, you don't know. It could be a more competitive race. And we don't know what else is to come in terms of the Conservatives and Pierre Poilievre. We don't know for certain that there won't be more controversy, there won't be more caucus challenges. You could get more defections. Maybe they put a cork in this bottle, but we don't know, so stay tuned.
Well, on that note, are you hearing any rumblings about any more defections or resignations for that matter?
Well, the rumors earlier in the week were certainly that it wasn't just these two, that there were a handful of others that were maybe in dialogue with the Liberals, considering the possibility of defecting, considering the possibility of crossing the floor. There has been, by all accounts, a full court press on those members, a bit of carrot, a bit of stick, maybe a little bit of more stick to try to keep them in line. So for the time being, the Conservatives claim they have staunched this, that they have stopped the bleeding. I'll assume that's true. They should know better than I do. But, if there were 5 or 6 that were flirting with that possibility, that suggests there are still some people inside this caucus that aren't all that thrilled. I'll add one more thing, because I have lived through these things. When people start to talk about crossing the floor, it creates mistrust, anxiety, it creates resentment, and a little paranoia. Is the person I'm talking to absolutely on the team? Can I trust them? Or vice versa, people start to wonder and say, gee, you know, the leader's office is really leaning on these people. They really got tough with a couple of them to keep them in line. Might they get tough with me? That creates friction. So it has a toxic effect on a caucus and on a political team.
All right, Scott, thank you for this. CTV political commentator Scott Reid. Appreciate your time.
See you, Caroline.